Welcome back to Darling Television. I want to quickly discuss this issue of PENGASSAN and Dangote Refinery. The storm is beginning to gather. The nationwide strike has started after a series of threats and counter allegations. I think it has gotten to a crisis level. Let's discuss what is happening. A growing storm for distribution disputes that later led to mass dismissal and, of course, threats and counter threats. Where do we stand today? Since slightly over a year ago that Dangote Refinery has started, we have started seeing improvement in the distribution of petroleum products in Nigeria. Very commendable, but crisis, they say, never end. Wahala not they finish. So it's after one wahala or the other. But now it is the union. The union, they've always had it fine with government. But now with a private refinery, which we never had before, they are beginning to want to excite the same influence they had on government. Will it work? Will it work? And in whose interest will it be for PENGASSAN to have a grasp, a full control of staff of the refinery? Will it be in the interest of Nigerians or just for the union's sake? Let's look at this. The union is also talking about the legal implication of their involvement, the unionization of the staff of Dangote Refinery. Will that also add to productivity? Will it improve the situation of fuel distribution in Nigeria or just another crisis? What is PENGASSAN? PENGASSAN is Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. We have known them and know pain early 90s, from the days of Abacha. In fact, there was a broadcast I stumbled on about late Abacha that was, giving serious warning and actions against PENGASSAN and NOPE. They've always been bottling the neck of various administrations. But in the last decade, their influence have dropped drastically because even our refinery have not been producing. But now that we have a local refinery that is producing from a private sector, they want to exert their influence and authority back. What is happening? The crisis started with distribution issues. Some marketers felt that Dangote is going to monopolize the business and is eventually going to take them out of the business. But whether we like it or not, I've said it on a live program before, that the unions of marketers needed to sit down with Dangote and negotiate so that whatever program Dangote is going to come up with distribution will be gradual. Because if it is too sudden, it's going to push all of them out of business entirely. But I guess that is beginning to happen. They had that crisis. There was a brief strike of the various unions, then cut off. Now, initially, they claimed that Dangote Refinery is not allowing their staff to be part of PENGASSAN. But eventually, they joined PENGASSAN, and those who joined PENGASSAN have been sacked. The union claimed about 800. Dangote is not putting figures to those who have been sacked. Dangote Refinery is claiming that it is for security and for restructuring. And you know that if a private organization sack their staff for joining union, it's also part of security. It's claiming security and for restructuring. They've sacked over 800. Now, in reaction to sacking of over 800, PENGASSAN is calling for another strike. They are claiming it is lawful. They are claiming it's not unlawful. They claim and counter-claim. But one thing is sacrosanct. Dangote Refinery is a private refinery, and their utmost goal is to maximize profits. The same way PENGASSAN as a union backed by law can hold the federal government at jugular. It's not possible with a private refinery. The private refinery is not doing it for God's sake. It's not doing it for Nigerians' sake. The private refinery is doing it to maximize profits while it's taking care of clients and customers. So to what extent can PENGASSAN have influence over a private refinery? That's a big question to answer. As much as in this issue, it is natural that I want to tilt towards Dangote Refinery because the utmost goal for Nigeria at the moment is to have free and fair distribution of petroleum products. We have suffered for decades, but now, as much as we want distribution, we also want fairness for Nigerian workers in Dangote Refinery. So, is it this threat that will move this country forward or a roundtable discussion and negotiation? PENGASSAN has been used to threat of strikes as the only weapon to get government and other agencies of government to toe their line. But will it work this time? Dangote Refinery is calling on the federal government to intervene. Dangote Refinery is threatening to go back to dollarization of crude supplies. Will that help the situation or put more Nigerians into untold hardship? Threats. Nigerians are the receiving end. The concern: who could lift the products? Disparity between local marketers and multinational. Disparity between the staff of Dangote refineries. The union claims the expatriates are being favored against the local workers. What are the way forward for all these issues? Nigerians, like I said, are the receiving end. Must we always be at the receiving end of any labor disputes? Why is it in Nigeria that unless Nigerians are made to suffer, there are no resolution to labor disputes? Why must it get to crisis level before there are interventions, whether from government or for the relevant agencies of government? I think the Court of Arbitration should visit this. The labor's law, according to PENGASSAN, are being trampled upon by Dangote Refinery. And that's why I said, as much as we want Dangote Refinery to keep supplying fuel, so that the issue of fuel scarcity will be a thing of the past in this country, it is also very important they abide by the law of the country. It is also very important that they do not maltreat Nigerian workers. Dangote undisputedly is the highest private employer of labor in Nigeria as of today. As much as we praise him, we also want him to be considerate. PENGASSAN, those days of the endless threats to Nigerians and to the Nigerian government are over. Sincerely, they are over. You must change your approach, you must change your status. Like Femi Otodara said, that the whole world has moved beyond the approach of this union. I agree with him, but at the same time, private organization, because you're paying so well, because you have employed so much, you must also be considerate to follow the laws of the land. A lot of local industries in Nigeria, they are not treating Nigerians well at all. That nobody is speaking for Nigeria, not even the Ministry of Labor and Productivity. The unions in most organizations, private organizations, are moribund or not even existing. As much as we want to encourage unionism in organizations, they must also be considerate that the investors, the private owners, they are interested in maximizing profits. This strike, Nigerians are going to suffer if it is prolonged. Dangote is presumed to be losing about 14.7 billion naira every day if the strike continues. How long it will last, who will blink first, we don't know. But one thing is sacrosanct: the days of endless threats by NOPEC are over. The days of unionization of private refinery are over too. There should be a compromise, and that compromise is for Nigerians' sake. They should not take Nigerians to untold hardship just because of this issue. Also, in closing, PENGASSAN need to be conscious of the fact that if they press this issue so much, even more and more workers among their members are going to suffer. So they have to be diplomatic, they have to reach a compromise that will be in the interest of all. I will keep watching and keep updating you as the situation unfolds. But we hope this strike action will take too long. Until I come back your way with another brief update or analysis. I will be at Daily Johnson. Catch ya. See ya. Thank you.
We have come to the point when this situation can no longer be tolerated. It is in the overall national interest that these unpatriotic acts being perpetuated by the leadership of NUPENG and PENGASSAN be dealt with decisively. Accordingly, the executive of both unions, the NUPENG and the PENGASSAN, at both national and state levels, are hereby dissolved. This action is with immediate effect. A sole administrator will be appointed immediately to oversee the affairs of both unions.